Greetings citizens, Criss here with another Starmade update. Today we have the big one, NPC factions. Let's take a look. After updating, you will notice new factions appearing in your worlds. These factions have their own ships, stations, and behaviors. The blueprints they use and their config files will determine how these factions operate. You will also see plenty of ships flying in NPC territory. These fleets are all generated when the world is started, but do not load in until you get close. Different types of fleets will be created, like defensive fleets or mining fleets. The blueprints that factions use will determine what they need and will result in a supply and demand economy. The factions will attempt to trade, build, or mine the resources they require. Factions will prefer to use some methods over others. Each star system will differ in its resource richness. Factions will send mining ships out to mine asteroids and return its resources. If the system is depleted, they will not be able to mine. The replenish rate can be defined with the NPC config files. Factions will attempt to manufacture more advanced blocks. This is dependent on the number of factory stations and their inclination to do so, as designated by their config files. When trades are dispatched between the factions, real trade ships will transport the cargo to their destination. If you wish, you can attack these vessels and loot their materials. Be warned, the factions won't like you messing with their stuff. In order to prevent endless blocks from making their way into the universe, a maintenance cost is given to the factions. They will deduct blocks from their inventory during the faction turn. When looking at the map, you will not see the fleets or stations immediately. You will need to scan the systems or explore it to reveal everything. If a trade convoy is traveling through the star system, you will see the route as well. An admin button has been added to the map as an easy way to see this information. The NPC factions will expand their territory. Each time they expand, they will spawn in a set of fleets and stations for their new star system. They will attempt to spread into resource-rich areas. The distance to their home base will also determine what is spawned, and their behavior is also different depending on how far they are from their home base. If a faction starts losing fleets and stations in a star system, it will try to replace them. If it can, they will keep the system, but if they can't, they will abandon it. You will be able to see the status of their control in the galaxy map. Another major feature for this update is faction diplomacy. It isn't a complete system, but the groundwork is there. Fair warning, this is fairly unbalanced at the moment. The system is point-based, modified by different actions. Some modifiers are permanent and some are temporary. For example, starting a war with a faction will negatively affect your relations, but that status will be revoked once you are no longer at war. Factions will also react if you attack their friends or enemies. You can access this menu quickly by the radial menu or the H key. With these factions, there is a new set of config files that allows you to define how these factions perform. They are found in your Starmade directory under the Data/NPC Factions folder. Here, you will be able to define which blueprints are used as well. You can also create your own custom NPC factions with ships and settings of your choosing. We will be doing a separate video to show how you can set this up. Lastly, you must now designate a role for your ship or station when saving a blueprint. This is vital to the NPC system. If you wish to create your own faction, you will need to designate these roles for your ships and stations so that the system spawns them in correctly. With this update, we will be able to add new ships, stations, and even new factions in a steady stream from here on out. This is the foundation for future updates in Starmade, and so it is very likely we will encounter issues and balancing problems along the way. Please leave your feedback here or on the official forums. A link to the dev post can be found below, where you will find more information regarding this update. Coming up next, we plan on working on AI updates, improving fights, balancing systems and weapons, and of course, Kupu's new texture set will be coming out soon as well. That's all for now. Thanks for watching, and thanks for playing Starmade.